Hello, YouTube. So, what is leaky gut syndrome, and how do you know if you've got it, and what can you do about it? Um, Leaky gut syndrome is intestinal permeability, where your cell walls, your cell junctions, have little tiny gaps in between them, and normally, so that's what your nutrients kind of fits through that little gap, and under a normal circumstance. And if you have intestinal damage, then that gap gets a little bigger, and then bigger bits of protein and bacteria and all kinds of stuff you don't want gets into your bloodstream. And as you can imagine, this causes all kinds of issues. So, some of the symptoms, if it gets pretty severe, you get food intolerances. For me, it started out my first symptom when I was exposed to a moldy house, was I became intolerant to dairy. I got sinus infections, and I just felt like total crap if I had dairy, especially like ice cream, like dairy with sugar. Um, and then that I ended up becoming intolerant to almonds and gluten and a whole host of other things that I could previously eat without problems. Um, the next symptom is, for me, if I would eat certain things, I guess for me, basically really salty or really sweet things, like if I were, or coffee. If I drink coffee, I get this kind of like a high feeling. It's like some kind of a body rush, like a ADD, um, really kind of unnatural feeling that's not a good feeling at all. Or I can't concentrate, and I just feel really abnormal. Um, I can have that when I, like, say, eat a donut. I can sometimes, if I am in really bad shape gut wise, then I can get that same sensation. Or if I eat something that's really salty, I'll get that same weird sensation. Um, my kind of theory is that there's some component in that food that's relatively small molecular size that fits into your junction gaps that are slightly bigger than they should be. Like, say, you try to imagine what it takes to filter salt out of water. You need like a reverse osmosis filter that has little tiny, tiny holes in it, really tiny, microscopic. Well, if it's any bigger than that, so most filters won't filter out the salt. So my thought is that that salt is an indicator that your gut is not in good shape. So, um, for me, all this happened because of mold exposure, and I get tingling hands and memory problems, thinking problems, um, basically all the symptoms of multiple sclerosis, and basically nerve problems across the board. I also get like a skin irritation, where if I were to rub against my skin, then a couple seconds later, I would get a red streak, like a inflammation. So your histamine levels get really high because you have all this nasty stuff in your blood. So that's basically, from my experience, what it is. And it's basically, depending on who you talk to, is the cause of all uh, what do you call it? Where your immune system attacks your body, immune compromised syndromes, multiple sclerosis, lupus, um, So what do you do about it? Um, the first cure that I tried out was L-glutamine and Quercetin. So 500 milligrams Quercetin, um, and let's see, it was 500 milligrams of Quercetin um, twice a day, or you can go up to 1,000 milligrams of Quercetin twice a day, one in the morning and one at night, and then 1,000 grams of L-glutamine morning and night. So I tried that for a couple of weeks, actually like a month. It took a couple of weeks to notice the difference, but it did start to help. The results were pretty slow, but apparently Quercetin is kind of a natural antihistamine, so it helps with that kind of the inflammation of the skin. Like if I take a shower and my leaky gut is pretty bad, then my skin is kind of red and inflamed for a long time afterwards. So that's what I tried based on some research initially before I went to actual leaky gut doctor. And the first thing he put me on was this Mega Mucosa. And this stuff really, really helped dramatically within like 4 days. All these symptoms, even within a couple of days, I could tell the difference. But within 4 days, a lot of these symptoms were gone. Then within about 2 weeks, I pretty much am back to normal. So it's really beneficial to healing the gut. It doesn't solve the underlying cause, so you might, after you quit taking it for a while, it might come back. For me, it seems to be tied to the blooming of the mold. So at the late part of summer into fall is when I get totally flared up and I have all these problems like clockwork every year. I live in Seattle, Washington area. So long-term maintenance to try to prevent this stuff from getting bad all the time and having the memory problems and all the food intolerances. What I've been kind of taking kind of on a daily basis, pretty much year-round, is this RenewLife, which is basically it's a really high dose of L-glutamine, 5,000 milligrams plus a couple of other nutrients, not a whole lot of different stuff here. Glucosamine, gamma orzalan, proprietary herbal blend. So there's some gut supplements. This is one of the cheaper ones. So I just have been taking that as a kind of a maintenance for a long time. It seemed to help, and I was able to, consume gluten on occasion without issue and not really have major food intolerance issues until it got to late summer this year, last year, every year. So then all of a sudden it wasn't good enough. So then that's where I had to get back onto the Mega Mucosa. I was starting to have major numbness problems in my hands and also my legs, blurry vision, some pretty serious problems that were on the verge of being kind of debilitating. So I've been taking the Mega Mucosa for about a month straight, twice a day. And I'm feeling much, much better. My hands feel pretty much normal most days. And even when I'm eating food, if I don't eat anything, then I don't have numbness problems in my hands or anything. But if I eat food, then it depends on what I eat. I'm on pretty much a keto diet for the most part. just mostly vegetables and meats and nuts. And that's what I've been eating for the last couple of years to try to stay healthy and keep this issue at bay. I also started to add some probiotics. I need to see the leaky gut doctor though, and but I took a few of these, and I don't know if it was just the Mega Mucosa or the combination of that with the probiotic, but I started to get quite a bit better. After just a few days of taking the probiotic, it seemed to make a pretty big difference. So anyway, that's been my journey of learning with leaky gut, and that's pretty much what I've learned so far. Another thing to, if I had a really bad flare-up where my hands are going super numb and which it's having impact on my work, I'll take turmeric with curcumin. I'll take about 1,500 milligrams, pretty big dose, 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams, and within an hour, tingling is mostly gone. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. If you've got any information, any input, please comment below. If you have any other questions, comment below. And I hope you have a good one. Take care.